It took me almost dying to stop and go, hey, this isn't worth it. Being big is not worth dying.
You're taking drugs, you're trying to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're getting sicker and sicker and sicker. That's bigorexia.
I was never going to be a men's physique.
Didn't have much of an off season.
I like his physique better. I'm always very energetic. I will have to put me as one of the greatest.
Mr. Olympia was won by the back.
So what's up, man?
What's going on with you, Brad? Not much, man. Back home, finally.
Yeah, so listen, man, congratulations to you. You did it.
Well, it wasn't me. It was Ramy.
It was somewhat you too, man. It was a great win.
Yeah, I don't like to take credit for the athletes. You know, that was
between you and I.
It was Ramy's hard work.
Sure. Of course. Listen, that was amazing. So can you break it down to me? Because you and I did an interview that was maybe like a couple months ago, right? During the quarantine. And that was before you started working with him. So how did the whole thing come about? Because you guys worked together many years ago, right? And then suddenly, boom, you got back together and he wins. So
yeah, I mean, you know what happened. This is nothing new. Oh, this is nothing that people don't know. He was here before, and everything was perfectly fine until he got a little bit pressure from other people, and he wasn't strong enough to to go against the pressure, and he chose to go, do what they tell him to do, and this is perfectly fine with me. I have no problems with it. We were always tight. We were always cool. We kept talking to each other this whole time, so it's not like there was no contact. There was still contact. I never had anything against Ramy, and he never had anything bad against me. So that was just other people that were probably a little bit envy of the chemistry that me and him had together, and they probably didn't like it too much. So that was it. Like I said, we always talk.
How did you get back together this time around? How did it happen? And then, what caused for it?
Well, he's been sending me progress pictures almost every year. I mean, even before the Arnold this year, he sends me progress pictures. He asks for my opinion. And, he's been working with Chet for, probably a little bit over a year, or maybe almost 2 years, but he still talks to me. He still, checks in with me. It's been going on all these years, and I gave him my honest opinion, and I told him he's in good hands with Chet, but completely worked. And, how did it happen that he came here? That was something we talked about. He said, because I know he needed to focus, because I know how he functions, and I know that too much around him is not good for his preparation, and he totally agreed. But he was he never knew that. I don't know. He was maybe he was too shy to ask me. So but I felt it, and so I offered it to him. I said, listen, if you ever want to come back to train, feel free to come whenever. You're welcome in my house. My wife loves him, so there was no problem. And he was happy to hear that. And of course, he immediately made arrangements. He wanted to come here much earlier, but there were some issues. Then it was COVID, and there are some other issues that he had to take care of first. And therefore, he only made it here 3 weeks out.
Mm-hmm. Now, he's been on Olympia stage many years, right? I mean, 2013 was his first year.
2013, and so it's 7 or 8 Olympias now.
Yeah. So, and every time people say he's not conditioned enough.
No,
right?
it's 7 because he skipped last year. Yes.
So every time he got the same criticism that he wasn't conditioned enough, right? So, and you knew this also in the last interview. You told me the same thing. If he gets conditioned, nobody can beat him. So, what this time around needed different for him to be in that perfect condition?
Well, that's the question you need to ask Chat. I mean, I know what they were doing, but I would like Chat to let you in on that, because that was his thing, and like I said, they did a great job. I was just here to make sure he gets what he needs. He eats what he's supposed to eat, and I trained him and posed him like there was no tomorrow. That was the number one thing, because I know Ramy always looks good. So condition, I left that up to Chat. Of course, I gave him feedback daily. We were in contact all the time to make sure he understands what's going on, because sometimes if you don't see the athlete, there's certain things that you don't really, I mean, you can do it over the phone and on pictures, but you know, pictures sometimes don't do anybody justice, so you have to see him in person, and that's where we harmony perfectly. And I reported back to Chad. I told him exactly what I was seeing. I told him when I think he was a little bit flattish or down, and he was, you know, with no energy. And then he made adjustments, sent it through, and then we'll start that immediately. So it worked perfect. It was actually really a good team. That was teamwork.
So you guys are together, working together, which I did not know that. I thought he just.
Yes, Chad did his diet and his contest prep, and I did his training and his posing. And for me, I looked at this as being a friend. Being a friend, because I know the potential that he has, and I know if he does 100% what he's supposed to do, I know he can win. I knew it. That's why I offered it to him to come here, because I knew that there's nothing else but training and dieting and posing and focusing on the Olympia. No, nothing around him. And that's exactly what he needed.
You know what's interesting? Ramy's always been a top competitor, right? Always, since the first time he stepped on the stage. Olympia, he was always.
And people give him
always, right? But this year specifically, right? Because the Arnold, he didn't win the Arnold this year, right? I forgot what place he got, but
third.
Arnold, exactly third, right? So to be perfectly honest, going into this Olympia, he was not in a conversation to be the winner this year specifically, right? He's always the top competitor, but this year he was not like, nobody was saying Ramy's going to do it this year. You know what I'm saying? It was because the spotlight was on Phil coming back, and obviously, you know, it was between Phil and Brandon, right? So that's what's crazy about this year, right? All the spotlight was on Phil, and then Ramy just came out of nowhere, you know, not out of nowhere, but you know what I'm saying? Like, but he was just like, I was shine everybody.
Well, he got a special invite. If it wasn't for the invite, he wouldn't even be on stage. I mean, he got a special invite, you know. It's not like he was sitting on his ass and just hoping for an invite. I mean, he tried to compete. He did the Arnold, you know, he came up short. He tried to fly to Australia. They canceled the show like a week out or less than a week out. And then he dieted all the way to for the European Championship, like a month and a half out from the Olympia. And then he was at the airport to go to Spain, and he had to do a rapid test at the airport before boarding the plane, and he was positive. They wouldn't let him board the plane, so he had to pull out of that one too. That was the last possible chance to qualify. So thanks to the IFBB Pro League, thanks to Jake Woods, Dan Solomon, to give him a special invite. I knew it was worth it. I told him, I said, you guys just save the Olympia. That was, you know, I knew it this whole time. I believed he can do it. I said, if he can get on that stage and be confident and don't gas or fade, I think he got, because Chet had him in shape. And I watched him, and I saw him every day changing every day, so I knew what was happening, you know? So I was totally informed, but we said, let's not post anything, because let's get that surprise factor back that we had in 2013. Let's not post anything. And I know people were talking, all I did was sometimes post a set of the training, you know, like one set after, you know, the final set of each exercise, and people start giving us shit for the way we train. Oh, this must be panic mode, you know, trying to spot reduce fat because the way you train, like, I was like, all right, I didn't say nothing. You know, panic mode it's going to be t-shirts. It's going to be the new shirt. It's called panic mode.
So what was the training regimen like daily prior to the, you know, leading up to
we trained every day. We trained old school, you know. He didn't have to worry about size. We had to worry about condition. We had to worry about detail, you know. So that's what we trained for. We didn't train for size because he has plenty of size. What does he need to do? Grow? You know, he was 20 pounds less than he usually competes at. So
was it painful?
That shows you. That shows you that.
You're a brutal trainer, man. Was it painful? Was it what kind of routine?
No, listen. If you want to be the best, you want to have to train like the best. As simple as that. If you can't do it, then this is not for you. I don't think it's brutal. I think this is what's necessary to win $400,000 and be Mr. Olympia and make a lot of money with the title. I don't see any problem with it, to be honest.
So what kind of training, when you say he didn't have to grow, what kind of training did you put him through? Like, was it a lot of reps? Like, what was it like, just so I understand better?
No, it was not a lot of, you know, we in the 15 rep range, but still heavy. We still went heavy. You know, it's not like we do, you know, weight and do 15 reps. No, this was 15 hard reps. Most of the times he wasn't able to do them by himself.
I see. And as far as body parts, like multiple, like example for a week, right? Was it like one body part a week, or was it multiple?
One body part, each body part once a week. That's it. Because if you do it right, you don't need to train it a second time.
Mm-hmm. What about cardio? Was it a lot of cardio as well?
It was a lot of cardio. It was every day, 2 times 50 minutes.
Oh wow, nice. So
Yep.
That's what you get.
And he did it every day. He
Right.
did not miss a session. You know, that's the difference of the Ramy from back in the days, or in the last 6 years, and the Ramy now, because he had no choice. In my house, you got to do it. But it was in his mind. He was very, very peaceful in his mind. He was ready. He said, whatever it takes, I'm ready to do it. And he did exactly what he's supposed to do. He ate exactly what he's supposed to eat. And he was able to train, I mean, I had to push him, of course, but, I was able to push him. And some people, they would just say, oh, you know what? Nah. But he did it every single day. So hats up to him. That's why I don't want to take no credit from him. It was his work. He worked super hard.
Sure. No, what I said in the beginning was suddenly he reunited with you and he gets the title. You know what I'm saying? Just the timing, I guess, is just right. But
Sounds like comes full circle.
Yeah, exactly. So take me through the day one. Tell me the prejudging. You see everybody, like, were you back? I don't know if you were backstage or not, but when you saw everybody,
yes, I was backstage.
Did you know he was leading that first night? Did you see him being superior?
Yes, I was sure he was leading. Yes, I didn't know it. I didn't hear it, but I was sure he was leading, because when they came out for prejudging, it wasn't really sure what was happening, but he got better and better and better as they compared him, and they had some serious comparison. It was like he went on for like an hour, and Ramy was ready, and that's where all that posing and everything paid off. He was ready, and he was getting better when everybody else started fading. So that's why I was sure after the last call out, I was sure he was in the lead.
What kind of energy did you feel from the people, like, and especially other bodybuilders, when they saw Ramy, like, with the first comparison round? Did you feel like,
oh, the crowd immediately realized he's on. The crowd immediately jumped on his bandwagon. Everybody, I mean, the fans were screaming his name, and he had the loudest crowd reaction. Phil was, I was actually a little bit disappointed, not disappointed, but I was like, wait a minute, usually when Phil comes out and then after he does his mandatories, crowd goes nuts, and it was not the case. It was not like when Ramy was out there. So then I felt like he had the crowd behind him. So he won the People's Choice Award too. I mean, the People's Champion. He won both. He won the show, and he won everything.
Did you feel like
he's a likable person? People like him, and everybody was waiting for him to finally put it all together. And yes, listen, he wasn't 100%. Nobody was, but he was the best he's ever been, and he has room to get even better. And that's the scary part. He will come better next year, and then if they can beat him if it's 90%, how will they beat him if it's 95 or even more? Who knows?
Now, between the prejudging and the main event, right? It's basically a day apart, right? 24 hours from
between the prejudging and what?
And the main event, the finals, right? It's like
the finals, yeah.
It was a day apart, obviously, right? So that's a crucial period.
Yeah, it's 24 hours actually. Yeah.
24 hours, and tell me what went down in that period. And I'm assuming other people knew that he was already in the lead, right? So like, they can step it up. They could have stepped it up.
Nobody knew. Yeah, nobody knew for sure. I mean, even the fans, but even by looking just on the internet, all the outlets, whatever, talk about the Olympia, everybody had Ramy winning. So that tells you already, how the fans feel. And I mean, there was maybe out of 100, there was 1 or 2 that said Brandon or Phil or Hadi. So it was all Ramy, all of them. So that already gave him a huge motivational kick, So we know we had to just sit back. And I'm aware of everybody's going to come in better the next day. Phil is called Mr. Saturday, so Brandon, and Hadi. So we know when in chat, everybody knew we were going to come in a little bit better. So he was 2 pounds or maybe 2.5 pounds less on Saturday. It was even better than Friday. And that's the only deal. I mean, there was nothing. Saturday, he had perfect score.
Yeah, yeah.
All first place votes. There was nothing. And Friday he had 8, and I think Phil was in second on Friday with 11 points. So he was 3 points ahead of Phil after prejudging. And Phil ended up in 3rd. So he got worse from Friday to Saturday.
That's interesting, right?
In the judges' eyes. So I'm not saying that. That's just the judges.